Hey, hello, here's Kivana. So I've been wanting to do this video for ages. I already recorded everything last Christmas around the same time as this year, but I wasn't happy with the raw material, so I decided not to edit it. And this year I will do my second attempt. I really hope it turns out good, because otherwise I've again filmed for hours and nothing happened. So this video will be a journey of one of my pictures that you see of me on my Facebook or my Instagram, because those pictures, there's a lot of work that happens from my morning face to one of the pictures. It's makeup, it's a good photographer, Photoshop, everything. And I'm doing this video because I get a lot of my mostly female friends who are like, "You're always so pretty in your pictures and I wish I was looking like you." And I look at those women and I'm like, "You are perfect, like you are so pretty, you have better skin than myself," because my skin isn't really perfect. Means I probably won't get wrinkled so fast, but I tend to get like all the pimple stuff and things. So I see those beautiful women and then they're like, "I wish I was as pretty as you." And the thing is, the pictures you see of myself are a highly edited version of myself. It's not like me when I look in the morning in the mirror with like my hair undone and no makeup in my face. So I'm doing this video for all the beautiful women and men out there that feel a bit self-conscious, because in social media you usually only get like the highly edited perfect versions of themselves. So while I'm talking to you, you will see myself on the other side getting ready for the photo shoot, and it involves a lot of work. I usually need like 1 to 2 hours depending on what kind of like hair and makeup I decide to do, actually to do like photo shoot makeup, and that is also nothing I would wear for like every day. It's just too complicated, it takes too much time, I have much better things to do. Also with a kid and studying, so I usually in like everyday life I would apply minimal to no makeup depending on my mood and how much stuff I have to do. But if I'm going for a photo shoot, I will do it everything. Fake lashes, like a thick layer of makeup, obviously eyeshadow and lipsticks and highlighting and contouring. And the second component that goes into it is a really good photographer, especially somebody who knows about like how to put you in the correct light, because I had photo shoots where I had like this amazing six-pack and abs, which I do have abs but not as many, but the photographer was really good with like how to light you so that every muscle you had would look like 3 or 5 times bigger. So also a good photographer is a really important component for like getting one of those pictures. And like if you are a person that doesn't do like photo shoots and you only see those perfect images on Instagram, yes, with like on a family occasion or like one of your friends taking a picture of you, you usually won't get like the same results. That doesn't mean that you're not pretty as the persons that you see like online. It just means you don't have a professional photographer who knows about how to put you in the like good light. Point if you see like those perfect images online, half of the work you can't see because half of the work is not the model but the photographer behind it, and it's really hard to like replicate something like this if you don't have a professional photographer at hand. And the third component is actually Photoshop. I edit a lot of my pictures myself. I don't like over edited pictures. Like I think especially like when Photoshop came up, pictures were really like modern or used where you couldn't see any kind of like pore or skin of the model anymore, really smooth. Then they would do like the eyes, like do them super wide so that you didn't see like any like blood vessel or anything. So that was when the Photoshop first started. That was how they would edit the pictures. I think it changed a bit now because people know about editing and actually can see that now better in some cases. I think in advertisement it's still sometimes used. That is actually something I never really liked. Like I do edit my pictures. Usually I will do a bit of remove dark circles under my eyes, because especially since I have a kid now, it's getting better already. But in the first like months or year, she was always a bad sleeper, so I didn't sleep myself really a lot, and I would have these really dark circles under my eyes. So I would like just remove this with Photoshop. I still don't have like perfectly clear skin. I think I've finally found like a skincare routine that kind of works for me. Still, I do get pimples, even though I'm 27. So I actually will also edit out all those like little spots on my skin that have a different color. Usually that is everything I go for. Then I will do a bit of like changing like the color of the image and maybe making it a bit brighter, or changing the contrast or something, making it a bit sharper. So those are the things I usually do in Photoshop. But there have been occasions where I actually made myself a bit slimmer with Photoshop. It's pretty easy if you know how to do that. And I'm a bit, I don't know, I don't feel so comfortable with doing that to myself. I usually do that if, for example, I didn't have the chance not to eat before photoshoot. So usually what I will do is I won't eat before photoshoot. Like usually my photoshootings are like in the morning or like around noon. So I'm not a breakfast eater, so I don't have problem with that, but that means my stomach stays flat and everything is fine. But there have been occasions like today when the photoshoot is like later in the day. Then obviously I have to eat because otherwise I don't have the energy to do a 3 to 4 hour photoshoot. So that means my stomach won't be as flat, and you can do that really easily with Photoshop. And I don't feel super comfortable with doing that to myself, because I know that on the other hand I feel comfortable now. I feel comfortable in my body even if I don't like really Photoshop it. I like my body now, but I'm 27, so I don't know how many of my followers are actually like a lot younger than me, because overall like kind of the goth subculture where most of my followers come from a bit older. I think we kind of have a bit of a problem of getting younger people to to join the community, so I welcome everybody who's a bit younger than me, a bit below 20. I think that a lot of, especially teenagers, they see all those pictures on Instagram and like Facebook and stuff, and they always see those highly edited versions. Even like already super skinny models, like the kind of like Victoria's Secret kind of models, they will get edited in Photoshop. So there is also something called like Frankenstein Photoshop, where you will take like, for example, the legs from one model and then everything else from another model, and then Photoshop that together. They did that, I think, for an actress who was a bit older, and they thought that her legs looked too old. And that is creepy. And the thing is, with Photoshop, you can't even, if it's done right, you can't tell that it was Photoshop. So you have a lot of like young people, especially young girls, but I don't know, I think for men it's more with like enhancing the muscles, for girls it's making them slimmer. But you have a lot of young people being exposed to like social media, and everything is really highly edited. It's makeup, it's a good photographer, or usually like smartphones nowadays also have pretty good camera functions. And then you have like all the editing programs, and you also have like automatic editing programs. Prettier, you can even do like automatic apply makeup and stuff. It's creepy, because even when I was younger I already felt self-conscious about whether I look pretty or not, and we didn't have this kind of technology. I was only exposed to a few models in magazines, but those were like magazines. You knew they were professional models somehow, and they weren't like normal persons. But with social media you get the impression that everyone, even like your neighbor, is on Instagram, and everybody looks always super pretty and super happy and everything is fine, everything is good. It's scary, because what does it do to like young teenagers or like people who are not self-confident. If they only see all those like perfect images online. This is kind of why I wanted to do this video also and show you the journey that is one of my pictures, to see that it is a lot of work and it's not like a snapshot that I would do just in the moment and oh, here I am so pretty. No, it's like usually it's like 5, 6, 7 hours of work and I don't know, 20 attempts to do one pose, like until you get it right. For me it's kind of difficult because for me it's also a kind of art. So I don't do like your average bikini photo shoot where you just try to look as pretty and have like natural makeup, where you try to pretend not to have makeup when you even wear heavy makeup. So my makeup is usually really like a lot of stuff that maybe like the average person wouldn't even like so much, but I see that kind of as an art, as a form to express myself, and that's why I really love applying makeup, especially since my day-to-day job is with computers and programming and in this kind of sense not really creative, so I kind of use this as a creative outlet, so for my inner woman to once do all the womanly stuff, and usually I'm more like a guy nerd behind my computer, programming, playing games and stuff. That's where my inner woman tries to do all the womanly stuff. So for me it's kind of a creative way to express myself. On the other side, I know how it might influence other people and so that they think they are not as pretty or something. The problem is with Photoshop, since it is around, you can't really not use it anymore. So if you look like at older pictures from the 20s or something, if you look like at women like Marilyn Monroe or something, they couldn't edit her pictures, and she is still like one of the sexiest women ever been alive, how people see her. But if you look at her pictures and you see she's a normal woman, like she has a size bigger than me, and you can see her belly, that it isn't completely toned, and but if she would be today, then her pictures would be definitely Photoshop, 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 like wow. So it's kind of like once the box was opened, you can't really, what's inside is outside and you can't close it and hide it anymore. Yes, so that is kind of the problem I see myself. On the other hand, you can do really also a lot of creative stuff with Photoshop, like exchanging the background. So if you do a studio shoot, where you are like just behind a grey or white wall, and you can completely exchange the background so it looks like you're on a high skyscraper, or you can make yourself look like you're an android or a robot and change your eye color to like bright red. Or so I see it as both sides. On the one side you can just use it to create kind of this perfect image of yourself that nobody in real life can reach. On the other hand, it's like painting. You can do whatever you want with Photoshop. I think the problem painting compared to Photoshop is probably that painting, you know, it's just like somebody painting it, but with Photoshop it always appears to be, this is a picture that was being just taken like this. It's a picture, it's a photo, it's a proof. But nowadays a picture is not a proof anymore, because with Photoshop you can do pretty much anything. France, they actually had this law where you had to, if you edited a picture for like an advertisement, you actually had to put below that the picture was edited with Photoshop. That's usually how everybody uses it. Everybody uses this, like with filters and apps and Photoshop. So if you had to like right below your picture, it's edited, then 99% of all the pictures online on social media would be it's edited kind of. Probably the best thing would be to do kind of advertisement for young people. So actually go inside classes, like in 7th grade or something, and actually do this, what I'm kind of doing today with you, and taking like the girls and the boys and everyone, taking them through this process. So having like maybe a professional makeup artist do their makeup, then a professional photographer do their photos, and then Photoshop that, maybe also take a kind of like a before and after picture of them to show them what is possible with all those technique like makeup and Photoshop and stuff. So I think that has been actually the most educational for myself. Ever since I started getting into modeling myself, I'm not a professional, but even as a semi-professional model, I know now how I usually look, what can be done if I apply everything, and I look now also different as on pictures of other women. I look at the pictures and I see they applied makeup and I see Photoshop, and I can still say, yes, this is a really pretty woman, like her face has a really nice shape, but even when it comes to, oh, she has a really nice flat belly, you can't be sure anymore whether it's really a flat belly or whether she squeezed in a bit. So, but this means I don't compare myself so much to them anymore, because I know that a lot of it is not real, and if I would meet them like in real lives, and they would be kind of normal people, normal pretty people, but not just like alien being with perfect skin and everything. Rambling a lot, so I'm sorry if this is a bit confusing and out of order, but that's like the subject is really personal for myself. Like, say, I have gotten comments from people online, but also from my friends who are like, I wish I was as pretty as you, like on your pictures they are so perfect. And I just wanted to tell them, like, you are just as perfect, and maybe it's a good idea, even if you don't want to post anything online or something, to do that once in a kind of professional way, to see what happens to yourself if you do all the process that you see in the advertisements, and then that usually should hopefully make you feel better, kind of. Well, I think that is probably a good idea, especially if you are struggling with how you look. But I want to finish this video now, because I don't know how long I've been talking, but probably definitely long enough. I just wanted to finish this with a couple of thoughts. So I've read somewhere recently that nobody cares about you unless you're pretty or dying. And I think for social media that is true, definitely. Like, if you see usually like the people that become kind of famous are usually either people who are like really pretty or have some kind of condition, and that's kind of what triggers our brain. And I don't really have an answer to do this or like solve this, because I think as long as we are on social media, that is probably kind of what happens. So my only recommendation, even so I am kind of an influencer myself, would be turn off your phone more often and just go outside in nature and somewhere where nobody is to compare to you, and just look at the trees and the flowers and enjoy the sunshine, and spend time with your loved ones, because like your family and the people who love you, they don't care whether you have a pimple or not, or how your hair looks today. They just love you the way you are, and I think that's kind of the only solution there is turn off social media more often, and don't compare yourself so much to them, because it's a digital world with that is not kind of the real world, and who is real is your family and your friends. So this was a long video and it was a more serious topic, but I really wanted to do this video. I hope the material turned out good. I don't know how many of you actually watched through the entire video, because I assume it's gonna be long. But I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in one of my next videos. Bye! And now, turn off your phone or your computer and go take a walk. That's what I will do tomorrow. Today I have a photo shoot. Bye!